What is time attack? Depending on where you look, you'll find different answers. Imagery of big aero and high horsepower tuner cars come to mind.
Latest and greatest upcoming motorsport to come out of Japan.
But what is the essence of time attack racing?
Part of the enjoyment of the sport is learning, going faster every time, making changes, seeing what those changes do.
For that, we can look at the history of the sport, like its roots in Japan, the evolution of the competition, and the rise of new trends on the international stage. But let's begin with some basics. Time attack is best known as a speed event. You're racing the clock to put down the best possible time, not wheel to wheel or side by side with competitors. Some describe it as a drag race around a circuit, the pursuit of one perfect lap. And it's comparable to time trials, hill climb, or qualifying in that sense. As aggressive as the builds may be, there are no judges or style points in time attack, only timing transponders and class regulations. With the sport reaching into every corner of the world, the rules vary, but tend to follow the spirit of time attack. Understanding that involves a bit of a history lesson, so we'll take you back to where it all began. The precise history of Japanese time attack is a bit lost to time, but the important thing to understand about this period is how tuning shops took to the track to prove their latest demo cars by setting one flying lap. Tsukuba circuit proved to be an excellent playing ground with its technically demanding layout and proximity to Tokyo. Rev Speed magazine held what is thought to be considered the first organised time attack event in 1994 with their Tsukuba Super Battle. It's from this event that time attack heroes like under Suzuki came about, tuning their cars to new levels of performance and further establishing a pride amongst time attackers for self-built racing machines. The goal remained the same: put down the outright fastest time of the event in a road-going car on road-going tyres. This was met by relaxed rule sets that inspired innovation and evolution, as tuning shops were eager to prove their new products and drivers their skills. Tuning legend HKS would bring about their no rules time attack Toyota Altezza TRB-01, an all-carbon race car created with one goal in mind: to break the Tsukuba track record. The TRB-01 achieved this with a 55.8 second lap, however doing so on racing slicks in what was a full tube chassis car. It brought disapproval from the many who did not consider it to be in the spirit of the sport. The excitement, however, was still very much felt, and the hunger for time attack and all-out tuner cars reached the shores of California, where the story of American time attack began.
Super lap battle. Wow, a lot of history there. You know, it makes me think back to the early 2000s. I was lucky enough to be working at Super Street magazine. There's a really cool guy who you might know named John the Dairy, who was the editor of the magazine around 2003, 2004-ish. Him and some of the other editors for magazines like Sport Compact Car got together, wanted to throw a time attack at Button Willow. Really just an editorial event is what it started off as, to create content for the magazine.
That's what I love about time attack. It's a family. It's a wide array of automotive cultures. It started as JDM. That's why I brought it here to the United States, because I fell in love with a car called the Track Attack Altezza, the TRB-01. It was a monster of a car, all carbon fiber body. Jackie's really too young to even remember what that car was. No. You know that car, okay. HKS built that car, and I thought it was just wings and suspension and engine and everything about the tuner culture, but just exaggerated.
John really wanted to emulate, the tuner challenges and time attack battles that took place in Japan, and it was my job to help John fulfill his vision for a time attack event. And that's really kind of how Super Lap Battle got started. Really got to give a lot of respect to Super Street magazine, Sport Compact Car magazine. It became an annual thing that we did every November, the week after SEMA. It went on for probably well, I mean, it's still going on. I've continued the tradition on, and we call it the GTA Finals now, and it's still the week after SEMA. And I call it the Time Attackers Time Attack. We get all kinds of people from all over the place that want to run a number there and see how they stack up against history. One of the big things that strikes me as being unique to the United States is the fact that, you know, early on we allowed and pushed slicks for the unlimited class, and we also allowed pushrod V8s and V8s even in general. It was something in the early days that wasn't even allowed. It was really more built around the tuner culture and Japanese imports and whatnot. When we started Global Time Attack 11, 12 years ago, we wanted to change that up. We wanted to make it more of an American time attack that was friendly to cars that were made here in the United States. We knew it would be a challenge to somehow try to figure out classes that would accept a Corvette to be able to run against a front-wheel drive Honda. So with that, I feel that we found a really good way to keep it a level playing field and keep it fair for everybody out there. Well, that takes us here, Dakota, Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas, dedicated F1 track here in North America. It's absolutely huge, it's beautiful, it's just a very impressive venue. And this is the future of American Time Attack. This is the future of Super Lap Battle. This is our Super Bowl event that we kick off our season with. Usually February or March is the annual month that we do this event. This is the 4th one that we just had, and it's the best one that we ever had.
Overseas, the Aussies started a Yokohama Super Lap, of which, after the closure of Oran Park, evolved into the pinnacle of Time Attack as we know it today.
They were cars that were having a lot of front end.
World Time Attack Challenge.
Let's go and have a chat to our commentators. Chris Biggles. World Time Attack Challenge.
Only set records for World Time Attack, but the overall world.
All the way to the United States of America, the Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge 2019.
I saw rolling by here at the pit exit. She was showing sticker tyres. The guys were strapped in, ready to rock, and you know, it's
Under Suzuki is back here at the venue, and we'll see what happens.
So we're at the first day of competition at the World Time Attack Challenge in Sydney, Australia. So far we're having an awesome
With Japanese, US and European competitors all joining in on the fun, it's fair to say that World Time Attack set the bar at an international level. To further understand Time Attack racing, it's worthwhile to look at the different classes that make up World Time Attack Challenge, each representing a segment in Time Attack community and culture. Club Sprint is entry-level street class, dealt with most restrictions and excludes supercars from taking part. Open class is next up, allowing for amateur or professional drivers behind the wheel of some serious high horsepower hardware. Here we see fewer restrictions on aerodynamics, weight reduction and more. Pro-Am class is where things get really wild, with big aero, big power and fewer rules. Pro-Am is an amateurs only class and caters to owner drivers. Under Suzuki competes here in his Scorch Racing S15 and is a crowd favourite for bringing that humble, self-built, high-speed Time Attack spirit. Nitrous injection is allowed in Pro-Am only for naturally aspirated cars, which is one of the few things that separate it from the big guns. Pro class is, well, open to pros.
Ladies and gentlemen, RP968 going to put a flying lap in right now. Button attacks Armando. Full tilt, full attack. Pulls up the rice hole ash on the corner. Gets it into turn 2. Can he pull it up? Look at the front brakes. Glowing very, very red indeed.
With unlimited engine mods and carbon fibre everywhere you look, these cars often boast over 1,000 horsepower with some serious engineers and aerodynamicists to back them up. World Time Attack Challenge competitors run on Yokohama Advan Control tyres, similar to what was dominant in Japan and adapted in America's Super Lap Battle and Global Time Attack series. It's worth noting that tyre choices, while similar, can and have shifted in Japan to be more on the purple side, after a certain North American Time Attack driver visited the spiritual home of the sport and set a new FF record. With variations and differing rule sets across the globe, it's easy to lose sight of what exactly defines Time Attack racing. The terms Super, Lap and Battle have been thrown around quite some times throughout its history, so let's take a look at this commonly shared format and what it means. A super lap shootout typically comprises one warm-up lap, one hot lap and one cool-down lap. Most Time Attack series adopt something akin to this format as a way for drivers to set that one perfect lap they're chasing. What's it like being a Time Attack driver? We caught up with the aforementioned North American driver and multiple outright record holder Will R. Young to find out.
You know, Time Attack is really the extreme side of the import scene. We're taking, you know, in this case a Honda Civic, turbocharging it, building it up, making as much horsepower as we can. Like, we're close to 900 wheel horse right now, and basically trying to put everything out on track. Getting into the sport, you don't really have a goal of where you want to end up because, you know, it's fun, it's enjoyable. Feels great. Back to Canada. Hopefully it's better and you drop those lap times even more. But then, you know, sometimes it's challenging on the opposite side where you end up doing something and you went 2 seconds slower, not 2 seconds faster, and then you're scratching your head. But it all comes back down to learning, and I think that's what's amazing about the sport of Time Attack is, you know, you can take your regular car and you can modify it. You can modify it in your own terms, you can modify it at your own time, and essentially, if you have enough time and energy, you can make an unlimited level vehicle.
So what is Time Attack racing? We can distinguish Time Attack from other time trial oriented events by focusing to the lens of Time Attack spirit. From its roots of road-going cars and DOT-approved tyres to its go-faster mentality and need for breaking records, it's bred from the unrestricted rules that make way for innovation and varying tuning philosophies. For these reasons, top-level Time Attack cars today have advanced so far that you'd never be caught street driving them. It's elevated in popularity and follows the golden standard set by the forerunners in the sport. It's where an extreme but tiny front-wheel drive Honda CRX can beat out GTRs around Sydney Motorsport Park, where an oddball choice like a Porsche 968 can be the fastest car in the world, and where a modest but very fast Japanese man can take his garage-built Nissan S15 to a different continent where he's treated like a rock star.
What else can you call this thing other than a pure creation intended to destroy lap records here at Sydney Motorsport Park? Armando corner, full commitment from RP968. Bart, pull it up, boy, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. He gets it through there. Wow.
The Porsche RP968, they are killing it. They're obviously the top dogs in pro class. And man, talking to Barton Maurer and the team over there, I mean, that's just an incredible car. All the pro class cars, all the pro-am cars, I mean, just taking it to another level.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and keep chasing that perfect lap.